Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday, which means it's time for yet another Salty Saturday morning. I am your host, Mr. Kadish, and I'm back from my vacation. So you might have noticed we didn't have a show last week. Some of our panel noticed that we didn't have a show last week, but we needed a much-needed battery recharge with my wife, who's always this close away from divorcing me, but came back, and now we're stronger than ever, along with my fantastic panel of nerds, starting with the man, the myth, the legend, Dutch Butters. How you doing, Dutch?
Well, hello, Mr. Kadish. How are you today?
Doing very good. Thank you. AI Dutch. Yep.
No, Mr. Kadish is the greatest live stream producer to ever live. He is both the smartest man alive and the sexiest. I try to play. I just can't. No, I'm good. How are you guys? I'm ready to go. Sorta. I read none of the articles. I went through them. I said, yeah, whatever. Okay, this is stupid.
But how's that different than any other Saturday?
You know, pretty much every week. But I did it right in front of Matt. I surveyed the topics, and I said, yeah, okay. And he heard me thinking out loud, and he goes, yeah, you got it pretty much straight on. Took me 30 seconds, and I'm like, okay, let's go. Hit the play button, man. Let's roll. So
here we are. Well, he's here. He's queer. He's our shield against all things intersectional and James Gunnish. Brian from the Popcast.
What's happening, dude?
How are you and your secret sources doing today?
Oh, my God. People losing their mind.
Brian, don't tell anybody I'm your source. Oh, wait. Damn it.
Oh, damn it. You guys. Sorry, guys. Dutch is my source.
Don't tell anyone ChatGPT is your source.
All 1,100 of you that are screaming at me right now about the Batman thing.
Brian, John Cena is Batman.
John Cena is playing Robin. A giant Robin to a tiny little Batman.
Oh my gosh, that'd be fantastic.
That'd be
hilarious.
To see John Cena get adopted. Oh my gosh, yes.
Imagine like he's Robin to Pattinson's Batman. He's like 2 feet taller than he is. He's like, yes, Batman, let's go. He's in the orange and the red.
Damn it, Robin. Oh, that's really good.
He picks up Batman and throws him.
That's a cartoon waiting to happen right there.
I want to see that so bad now.
I'm gonna put you in timeout.
Calling
giant Robin.
Speaking of timeouts, we have the Lord of the Pineapple Pizza, the King of the Shelves, the one and only Odin from OMB Reviews. How you doing, Odin?
I don't know why I'm in timeout, but okay. Glad to be here.
You have so many children that you manage.
Oh yes, my 2 children who are just at that right age where they are a lot more of a handful than
and all your students as well on a regular
Oh my
basis.
gosh, yeah, that's true. During the school year, my family expands quite a bit. And this year, normally it's like a range of between 90 and 105. This year, I don't know what happened to the junior class, but I'm gonna have like 120.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, you're gonna have 120 kids in your class?
Not in like one class, but like across my sections in total, it'll be 120.
Are you like a principal or something?
No.
Principal Odin?
No. I'm just the junior religion teacher. So there's 120 juniors. And so, yeah.
Oh,
it's a small school,
okay,
actually.
I
yeah.
see what you're saying.
Wait, so you don't work at a religious school? You're the religious teacher at a regular school?
No, I'm the religion teacher at a Catholic school.
Oh. I didn't know Catholic. So
it's called.
I've never heard of a religion teacher. That's a new thing to me.
Yeah, I prefer theology teacher myself.
Okay,
theology sounds more
never,
appropriate.
If you've ever gone to a Catholic school, Brian,
yeah,
I didn't.
I
barely went to regular school.
They have religion teachers that teach you about the Catholic religion. So.
Yeah, because in math class, you're going to math class, right? Yeah. So it's not all right, on the third day, God created algebra, and on the 5th day, he created geometry.
Yeah. You have a yardstick with custom hand grips for whacking the shit out of those kids? Oh.
Well, no. We have not beaten the kids since, like the 1980s, all right? So
I was in my senior year.
And look at how those generations have turned out.
You need to start beating their asses again.
Yeah, we need to start we need to get that yardstick out and just go.
What we need are the old school nuns. That's what we need.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the real old school ones.
Yeah, do it.
The ones that like measure the skirt to the knee and be like, Missy, 3 inches below the knee.
You're dressed like a slut.
You are a harlot.
How dare you show
will
your
take
ankle?
the harlot yardstick.
Oh man.
Speaking of harlots, Tom Connors Jr. is not here because he's too busy eating cereal or doing whatever it is he does on Saturdays when he's supposed to be here.
Is it time for his weekly shower? Is it weekly shower time?
Maybe. I think he's too busy trolling everyone who didn't like Superman on X or something like that to join us today.
Oh my
Man,
gosh.
he loves that movie. Like
He does.
Surprised at how much he like. Not only does he love it, he defends it to the death.
He was going after me in someone else's thread.
To be fair, guys, I agree with him. I also adore that movie.
We know,
Well,
Brian. We know.
It's
man.
okay,
We know.
Brian. You can be wrong sometimes. It's fine.
Well, to everyone out there, Dutch Butters finally saw Superman, and I'd like to hear his thoughts on it.
Well, it's going to be really brief. I just thought it was weird. I didn't feel like I was watching a Superman movie. First off, I thought it was like some kind of weird Justice Gang movie. I guess I just there was too much James Gunn in this Superman movie.
It wasn't enough James Gunn.
It was just. It was.
In Gunn we trust.
It's been. Like
I'm being silly now. Okay.
It's been like 2 weeks since I've seen it, and I don't remember exactly what I said. I just thought it. The only word I can think of when I think about this movie is weird. It was weirdly. It was weird. Yeah, I mean, Corn Sweat was the least offensive thing about this movie. I thought he was fine. I thought Superman was fine.
I love Corn Sweat.
It was everything around him that was goofy. The Daily Planeteers were goofy as hell. I did not like them. I didn't like any.
You
of
didn't
those
like
characters.
Jimmy, bro? Rizzed up Jimmy?
I did not like Rizzed Up Jimmy.
Oh, I liked him.
Rizzed up Jimmy is the best, bro.
The actor specifically. I think the actor is good.
I just did not like him. I didn't like the way they played off each other. I thought Lex Luthor was awful. It's like the worst role that I can't think of the actor's name.
Nicholas Hoult.
It's his worst role I've ever seen him in.
Dude, you're out of your mind.
No, I'm not, Brian. Because
you know what's crazy is you and I agree like 85% of the time. But the 15% we don't agree on is like insane to me.
Yeah. Brian, let Dutch talk.
I don't really have a whole lot more to say.
Sorry, Dutch. Sorry.
I don't really have a lot more to say. I just thought it was a weird movie. The superheroes that they had, and weird wheelchair space guy. I don't know who the fuck that was, Mr. Fantastic or whatever.
Mr. Terrific, bro.
I'm not a DC guy. Okay.
Okay. All right. It shows, Dutch. It shows.
Bowl cut. Green Lantern. I know.
Go enjoy your Fantastic Four film.
Yeah, okay. I'm probably not gonna go watch that one either. He was okay. Screech Girl. That's all she fucking did.
Hawk Girl, bro.
Screech.
That's what she does.
Is that what she does?
Yes.
She screeches all the time.
She's that version of Hawk Girl is just sort of a psychopath. Right. She literally flies after people with a giant hammer and screams at them and beats the shit out of them. That's she's a killer. She's a killer.
I liked Crypto. Crypto was cool.
Crypto was awesome.
I'm glad that he's getting more dogs adopted on his own in the real world right now.
That's actually true.
That's kind of a cool side effect.
Adoptions are way up right now for that.
Yeah, for real. But no, I honestly, guys, I just thought this movie was very weird. And there's no other word for me to describe it. So that's my word on the picture of the poster. It's just gonna say weird, Dutch Butters. So that's my endorsement.
It's so weird.
I'm gonna give it like a 5 out of 10, 2.5 out of 5. Somewhere around there. Go watch it. It's kind of fun, but it's just not what I wanted or expected. So
it's so weird because 85% of the time we agree. But that weird 15% is always weird, totally different.
Speaking about a weird 15%.
Yeah.
Well, also, speaking about 5 out of 10, we have our 5th member here, Tom Connors Jr.
The weird 15%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there's the weird 15%.
25% gay.
Got out of the shower.
Yep.
How'd the weekly cleaning go, Tom? Hope everything's okay. So
I don't know. Matt's like, I need you.
Yeah. Having my regular panel show up regularly, that's
he
kind
was
of
promising me dick pics and shit, and he's like, I'll even send you a picture of my bum hole.
It's weird. I've been asking for dick pics for a long time.
He said just don't send them to Brian.
I knew it.
Exactly.
I don't understand.
Glad you didn't take that route with me, because
why am I not on that text chain, dude?
I don't want Brian to get jealous, Tom.
I'm glad I'm not on.
Well, he'll use them in ways that would be perverted.
Yeah,
that's fair. I would.
Anyway,
I would do things with AI or something with them.
What were we talking about when I come in?
Superman being
Superman.
Yeah.
I like Superman.
Yeah, you
Oh
do.
no, really?
All right, guys, real quick, got to move the show along. Scotty Dub made you say butts. Thank you for being our top at the leaderboard. Mexican Iron Man is our most consistent donator still, even though he is preparing for the apocalypse. And of course, our top gifters, Jillian H., Major Chai Chai, and Eric Winberg. Thank you guys so much. Our goal today is 10 new memberships. If we can hit those 10 new memberships during the stream, we would be very happy and love all of you. We also have our goal to hit 25K subs. We're getting close. We're around 2,100. So just need 4,000 more, right? And then Dutch Butters, tell everyone about Salty Nerd Discord.
No, I'm not going to do
it. I was waiting for it, dude.
SaltyNerdDiscord.com, guys. Go there. We'll talk about stuff.
Just
All
go.
right.
Just go to the Discord.
Yeah.
And guys, right after this show is over, he's not taking a bathroom break. He's just going to pee in a bottle on stream. Brian from the Popcast has his brain show.
That's right.
At 12:05 p.m.
I'm literally peeing right now. You guys just can't see it. I installed a catheter.
Right.
I'm using a catheter today. Yeah.
That's
all right. So Brian, what are you talking about on the brain show today?
Has manga gone woke? Has manga gone woke? We're gonna talk about all the
Manga or mega?
MAGA.
Mongo go woke.
We're gonna talk about all the insanity around
Mongo just pawn.
around all the
Brian.
movies and media and how they're acting a lot like the MAGA or MAGA crowd is acting a lot like liberals were a few years ago, and Epstein files and the Tesla Tesla AI diner.
Mongo.
Weird. A lot of weird stuff, and some cancellations on movies and TV, and there's just a lot of weird stuff going on right now.
Is that our word of the day? Weird.
And I'm seeing a blending of like the way liberals were acting for the last 8 years. I'm seeing some of the same free speech guys acting the same way that liberals were acting 5 years ago. They're the same people they criticize. They are literally repeating the same thing, just with different mediums.
Brian, do you know what I've been seeing for 8 years? Super chats. We have Mexican
Let's
Iron
go!
Man for $9.99.
Let's go!
I'm listening while biking. Summer in full effect. Got to stay sexy and fit to prepare for possible attack by aliens, zombies, or Democrats.
I'm officially changing his name. It's now Sexican Iron Man.
Oh,
Ooh.
we just
Very
need
nice.
Mike to make sure that the tamale supply is in stock in the bunker.
Like,
That's
no,
all.
too sexy. It's too sexy, Mexican Iron Man.
Too sexy. It's too sexy.
It's too sexy. And we got Doomed Huh for $2. The Snyder Bros lost the Superman war.
Yeah, they did. Jeez.
It's too bad Man of Steel's the better movie, but
And it will have made more money, but it is what it is.
Uh-huh.
It's so weird though that this minority of people were fighting so hard again, and it's a very small amount of people fighting so hard against one particular film. It's the weirdest
Small
thing
amount
to
of
me.
bots, you mean, Brian? Small amount of bots.
You think it was bots? Really, Matt?
Anyone defending Snyder at this point is
Bro,
definitely.
it's a bunch of monkeys in an interdimensional portal world, micro universe.
Yeah.
on their
I think
internet.
there's
Snyder
two groups of
monkey farm.
monkeys. I think there's two groups of monkeys on both sides doing
And,
this.
somehow
Hey, I don't like being called a monkey. Okay.
somehow they have internet access in that
you
pocket
can
universe.
never you can never fucking tell me that movie isn't weird when he's got a bunch of monkeys in a fucking portal universe
Yeah, he
messing
does.
with our internet. Okay,
It's true.
the stupidest shit ever. Stupidest shit.
It's
I've
not
ever seen.
stupid.
It
It's
is
fun.
fucking stupid.
No,
It
it's
is-
fun.
It is fun, but it's stupid. Okay,
At least you admit it's fun.
You guys know what isn't
silly as
stupid?
shit.
Or fun.
Eric Winberg, because he
Oh, he's
gifted
fun.
one Salty Nerd podcast membership. We love Eric. And
Eric's the man.
way too dumb for this shit
Yeah,
member
he
for
is.
4 months. Tom, please read this member chat.
I need to get some Chinese music. Who didn't see Thailand and Cambodia be at it in the bingo card? I guess I have to dig up a bunker.
What?
Wait, are Thailand and Cambodia
I
going
read
at
it as it was written.
Yeah,
What
I
is
guess there's some geopolitical stuff
They're-
going on here that we don't know
The
about.
Battle of Ladyboys, just like
That's like your wet dream, Brian.
Yeah. Guys, don't fight.
All right, real quick.
Let's be friends together.
Real quick, guys. R.I.P. our childhood. We had a lot of deaths. We don't usually like to talk about celebrity deaths on the show, but 2 of them were like so significant, and I know it really greatly affected Dutch Butters. So I wanted to
greatly affected.
I wanted to give him some time to eulogize his childhood. Dutch.
I don't know what to say. Gen X took some hits this week.
Yeah, that's true.
They really did. You know, my generation took some hits. Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne were honestly, they were huge parts of my youth and my growing up, and even I guess probably a lot of my adulthood. You know, I'm a big metalhead. There's no heavy metal without Ozzy. There's just not. The music wouldn't even be remotely close to the same without Black Sabbath and Ozzy's influence. And you know, he is one of those guys that belongs up there on the Mount Rushmore of music, as far as I'm concerned, of all music. So up there, he should be up there with Elvis, you know, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, that was rough. And I do have to give him a little bit of credit for going out the way he did. You know, he had his big going away concert a couple weeks ago, and you know, basically what the dude was is he planned and performed at his own funeral, I think. And I think he knew his time was short. And, you know, I think that was kind of a cool way for him to go. And, you know, it was just sad. It was a sad week for me. And Hulk Hogan going the second day, every single one of us on this panel has watched wrestling, and it's such a huge business today, and it's all because of what Hulk Hogan did. You know, he mainstreamed that industry, and you know, he had his issues, but you can't deny his effect on pop culture and the entertainment industry. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. It was just hugely not inspiration, hugely
impactful.
Impactful. Yeah, for what both of those guys gave to their different industries. So they were big deaths.
I heard that Hulk Hogan passed away from acute Hulkamania.
Acute Hulkamania. Yeah.
Acute Hulkamania. Yeah. And
my question is
late stage Hulkamania.
71 years old is like pretty, like it's young now.
For a wrestler, that's pretty old.
But it's
for
old
that generation.
for a wrestler that used as many steroids as he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my dad's like 74 years old and he's still like working.
Yeah.
Like, in construction.
Those guys abused their bodies, man. They did some crazy stuff back then.
Yeah,
I mean, I literally I can't think of any of those guys that are still alive. Hacksaw, I guess, is still alive. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, but
Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yeah, but I guess you could.
But I
Bret
think
in there, but
both of those are guys that probably were on the lower end of using those kinds of things.
Yeah, probably. But you know, that generation. I'm talking like Paul Orndorff, Dusty Rhodes.
Ric Flair's still around.
That's a surprise. Yeah, that's a real. He was the worst of them all.
Well, he's Nature Boy. So
Nature Boy. Woo!
But also we have to point out Malcolm Jamal Warner, aka Theo Huxtable, also passed away from accidental drowning.
That sucks, bro.
It's crazy.
This is why I don't go outside, guys. That's why.
Yeah,
stay at home.
Don't want to go outside. But we got a super chat here from John Yulden, Brian's boyfriend.
Johnny!
For £1.99. Hulk Hogan, complete legend. Yes.
And by the way, it's man friend. Man friend. You said it wrong.
Sorry, man friend.
Man friend.
Man friend.
We do a Stargate show every Sunday at 12:30 p.m. PST. Come check it out, John's channel.
All right. Anybody else want to say anything about the passing of these legends before we move on? Nope.
Just rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, bros.
Rest in power.
Ozzy was legends. Hulk Hogan was a maniac.
That's right.
The other guy, you know, at Suxley died of drowning. That sucks.
Yeah, I think Hulk Hogan stopped taking his vitamins and stopped going to school, and so.
Well, I remember that story, bro. There was a story that's I think it was Howard Stern. No, Adam Carolla told a story, I think, where he was like having dinner. No, he was working at a restaurant, and Hulk Hogan came in, coked out of his mind with some other wrestler dude, and they both sat down and ordered like 4 steaks, and they were like actively doing Coke at the table, and they're like, "Give me rare. I want rare. Rare as you can make it." And they're just eating like literally red meat and doing Coke at a restaurant in LA. And I'm like, that can't be healthy, bro.
Pretty wild.
This is like the late 80s, dude. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of stuff that we can't believe.
I don't know. I just had one thing to say. It's crazy, but that's how it goes for millions of people living in this world.
Indeed. So Comic-Con's going on right now, guys. And some intrepid reporters actually cornered Kevin Feige and got him to talk about stuff and make a complete fool of himself, in my opinion, because a lot of what he had to say was about the current and former phases of Marvel. And I just want to kind of talk about some of the stuff that he mentioned in here, because some of it is truly egregious. So first of all, they were kind of talking about the release of Fantastic Four and how Kevin Feige is like, you know, one of the things he loved about Superman, he texted James Gunn directly, and he was like, I love how you just got into it. You know, you didn't have to do any origin stories. You didn't have to do any homework. And so like a big thing with Marvel is like, oh, like you had to like do homework in order to like know what's happening in the movies. So he says, we didn't want to have the Eternals issues of where were they? Where have they been? How come they didn't help with Thanos? We wanted them to be a part of our reality so that we didn't have to say, oh, look, they were hiding over here. And he's talking about the Fantastic Four. And basically, he also blames the failure of the Marvels and to some extent Thunderbolts to where basically they say like, okay, I recognize one or two of these characters from a $1 billion movie, but who are the other people in this movie? I guess they were in some TV show. I'm going to skip seeing this movie because I don't want to have to watch the TV show. So he's literally blaming the failure of the Marvels and Thunderbolts and the Eternals and stuff like that on the fact that they used characters from the Marvel TV shows and people didn't want to have to do the homework in order to like watch the movies. And he also said something about how Blade, they haven't done Blade yet, simply because they didn't want to just do a movie about a guy dressed in leather killing vampires. And everyone on Twitter, is like, why the fuck not? That's what we want.
That's literally Blade.
That's the character.
I'm like, explain to me Blade. You go, it's a guy in black leather.
It's a black dude in leather killing vampires. It's not that hard.
He's half vampire.
They're really overthinking Blade.
For the first time, they talked about Jonathan Majors kind of exiting as Kang, and he kind of like gaslit, and he's like rewriting history here, where he basically said like, once we got the Fox deal done, we got access to Doctor Doom, we immediately wanted to pivot away from Kang and to Doctor Doom. It had nothing to do with the fact that their main actor who's playing Kang got embroiled in all sorts of domestic abuse and domestic violence issues. And
X for doubt really hard.
Yeah, totally.
As Anakin said, liar.
Yeah.
And you know, like, it's kind of an interesting article if you go through it. He is fervently denying the fact that
my favorite part is where he says that they're not woke.
Well, he's specifically denying the notion that there's superhero fatigue. He doesn't believe in it. And I agree with him. I don't think there's superhero fatigue. I think there's fatigue on bad writing, bad movies, and bad directing. But anyway, like I wanted to get everyone's take on the current, status of the MCU. We'll start with Odin. Odin, what do you think of Kevin Feige's take on all this stuff? And do you think the MCU is in a healthy place right now?
It shows you exactly why the MCU is failing. Kevin Feige, as much as many people might want to give him credit, because again, I'm sure he had some good ideas along the way, but I think most of the really good stuff that kind of got everything started was before he had any, creativity as far as input at like that head level. Back when like what Paramount was involved, like the first Iron Man film and things like that. But I think that we have to really look at this and say, yeah, he is admitting that he is the reason why everything is as crap as it is right now in the MCU. The fact that in the same conversation, he's going to blame, people didn't want to do homework for as to why their films are failing. He's also at the same time saying, oh, well, we haven't made a Blade movie because we don't just want to make a movie about a guy in black leather killing vampires. It's like, I'm sorry, you've lost the plot at that point. You clearly don't know your audience, if you ever did know your audience. And to me, if I was
Odin,
you know what? Kevin Feige needs to go at this point because he has shown himself to be incompetent at his job if he does not understand basic economics of how to actually make money. And this is showing that he has no idea what he is doing, at least at this point in time. If you don't understand that Blade is a simple concept, that you could literally just put out an awesome film of him killing vampires, there doesn't really need to be an overarching story. There does not need to be a connection necessarily to the entire MCU. If you just have a 90-minute movie where he's just killing vampires and it's like really well action like directors, like get the guy that directed John Wick back in there, man. Just let him run with that and just make a nice short action film. God. Guess what? You'll make bank off of that. But unfortunately, he doesn't understand that, it seems, at this point. So fire the guy.
As long as there's no stairways involved. No stairs.
I'm with you. Imagine a dude in leather killing vampires, directed by John Wick's dude, whoever did that.
Brian, we'll get to your take in a sec, but I want to hit on Tom because Kevin Feige basically said that the reason, because I sent him the pics, remember? But
that's right.
I'm not that kind of man.
Yeah, but Kevin Feige basically said the reason they haven't made Blade yet is because they lent all the costumes and sets to Ryan Coogler for Sinners, and he hasn't returned them yet. Obviously, he was joking on that, but I want to get your take on Kevin Feige's interview, especially considering the fact that he doesn't seem to understand what woke means. What's your take, Tom?
Lord, so on the Blade thing, like I find that hilarious, and I do not buy the bullshit story that Sinners wasn't just a reworked Blade script. Considering Coogler just up and took all the costumes and stuff from the Blade movie, it's like, how much more obvious can you get that this guy pitched you a Blade movie? You said no. He went and took his idea over to Warner Brothers and made a bunch of money on it.
Made a ton of money.
And now you're just sitting here without a Blade movie 6 years later. Literally, it has been 6 years
wait a minute.
exactly since they announced Blade.
Are you guys telling me I need to actually go watch Sinners?
Sinners is great.
Sinners is not very good.
Well, Tom,
I liked it a lot.
You know, when Ryan Coogler pitched Sinners to Kevin Feige, he said, "I thought I already saw it from dusk till dawn." So,
yeah, it was a little bit like dusk till dawn. You're right.
Was there a big pussy,
I like
and
the movie.
little pussy, and giant pussy, and
no, it wasn't vulgar like that.
It's not even that fun.
Look,
but no,
it wasn't a perfect film, but it was definitely fun to watch. Like,
as far as the woke stuff goes, I mean, if you've seen Fantastic Four, and I haven't seen Thunderbolts, but some people have said similar things like to this effect, you can tell that there was some woke washed out of this movie. And so don't tell me they're not aware of what their problems are. The biggest problem they had was they had a female Silver Surfer that they couldn't get rid of, right? Like, had they just gotten rid of that, I think that the movie would be a little bit better, but there's still issues with it overall. At the end of the day, I think the only reason Fantastic Four is doing as good as it is because it is almost a separate entity, right? Like, because people can just go see it. They don't have to have seen anything else in the Marvel Universe. They don't have to have seen 3 episodes of Loki to understand what's going on. You know, even like Deadpool made that joke where they specifically say the episode to watch, where you don't even really need to because they just borrow a monster from there. Who cares? Like, at the end of the day, like, that's the problem with the Marvel Universe. And until they admit that they have a woke problem, they have an MCU problem, and they have just a bad movie problem. Because at the end of the day, even from what I've been hearing of Thunderbolts and what I thought of Fantastic Four, it's like, yeah, it was better than some of the last crap, but we're accepting some very mediocre movies right now from these guys out of Marvel.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the issue I'm having right now with this Fantastic Four is everything I see about it and everything I read says I liked it, but ... huge but at the end of it was okay, but
there's a lot of buts.
Look, I'm sorry, but for me to go spend the money it costs to go to a movie theater now.
Well,
I need a little bit more of an endorsement, but from
right,
it was okay, but yeah,
and the problem with that is it feels like an underbaked script, just like every other one of their movies. It feels like a movie that they hit the ground without a finished script, and they're just literally making stuff up as they go along without thinking it through.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, if you take another step back, this movie also has it's doing well at the box office. So what I'm saying right now doesn't matter. But this movie also has a Dark Phoenix problem, right? And that is that we've already seen this. This is the same exact story as Rise of the Silver Surfer all over again, right down to not just story beats, but literal scenes. Right.
But they did Galactus right this time, correct?
That's what, yeah, but they got Silver Surfer completely wrong. And then you even put yourself in a position where I'm not going to get into too many spoilers, but one character figures out a language in the movie to where it's like, if you'd have had the other character figure that out, it would have made a hell of a lot more sense why you changed this character to a female.
He was too
and
big.
You could have worked with it a little bit more. But in this case where it is now, it's just kind of convoluted and stupid. And look, I get it. People are enjoying the film, but that third act is a disaster. And as cool as Galactus looks, it doesn't fix it doesn't fix the film, right? It's got some major flaws to it. And anyway, but point is yes, that's kind of indicative of where Marvel's at right now. They're really kind of just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks. Now they got lucky with this movie, is the way it looks right now, but that doesn't mean it's going to hold on, because as I'm sure Odin will be the first to tell you, Marvel does not have a history of movies with very good holds for second weekend. And that's why some of us were trying to say, you can't be poo-pooing on Superman's second weekend, because that is a better hold than most superhero movies. Even the better of the Marvel films didn't have those kind of holds.
At least domestically,
yeah. Yeah, especially domestically, yeah. Like, and that's the other thing, people are just like making such a big deal about international box office and stuff like that. It's like, you realize that the studios care more about domestic than international, because they only get a fraction of what they get overseas, and depending on where it's coming from. But that's neither here nor there too. The problem is will this movie leg out to be 700-800 to $1 billion, which is what they need right now for a hit, because their two other movies have not performed, and we don't have another Marvel movie coming for over a year or close to a year with Spider-Man. So yeah.
Well,
at this point,
they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
That's to sum it up.
Yeah. Tom made a really good point, Brian, about the Marvel basically like not having finished scripts when they go into production. And Kevin Feige actually addressed this and defended it. He says he still likes the flexibility of going into production without a set script. And he kind of caveats this by saying that like every Marvel movie goes into production with a finished script, but it's not like a fully developed script. So like they make a bunch of changes while they're on set and while they're doing stuff. And even in post-production, because Marvel famously like likes to add like and take out things that require production or like special effects companies to like burn the midnight oil and try to get like the effects done in time for the release. So what's your take on Kevin Feige and the state of Marvel and him defending the fact that, we'll just make a movie without a finished script?
I mean, if you watch Fantastic Four, you can tell they didn't have a finished script. Like there's story beats that are really rushed, don't make a whole lot of sense. And I know it's a comic book movie. Like at one point you got to turn your brain off and just sort of enjoy it. But then you can only turn your brain off so many times before you're like, well, how does that work? And I'm not going to get into spoiler territory, but they attempt something in this movie that really, like, if you think about it for 30 seconds, you're like, that's a horrible idea. Thank God it didn't work. It feels like this movie is more of a long TV episode, almost like maybe this was a mini, like almost like it should have been a mini series where you actually had time to flesh out these ideas and these characters, and they cut it down into 2 hours. And it feels rushed. It feels like they're really rushing to get to Doomsday. I don't think Spider-Man's going to have a whole lot of connection to Doomsday. And if that's the case, that means that this movie is the last movie before Avengers Doomsday. Well, there's a lot to handle between now and then on how you even get these characters into that universe. And it wasn't explained in the movie. So again, it's obvious that they're going into shooting without a finished script, and they're finishing it on the fly. And it's just, it's messy. The film was messy. My brother really liked it. I enjoyed it, but the more I thought about it, the more mess I found, the more problems I found.
Brian, in this interview, Kevin Feige specifically addressed the Spider-Man stuff, especially when it comes to Miles Morales, where he basically said, because Sony is involved with the Spider-Man franchise, they have a lot less flexibility to do stuff that they might otherwise do with it. And so
nice way to pass the buck.
Yeah. So basically, what I read from that is that the upcoming Spider-Man movie is going to kind of be its own thing. outside of like whatever storyline they're trying to build going into Doomsday.
It's not going to be connected to Doomsday. Like, let's get that out of the way right now. If you think Spider-Man is going to, like, in some way fill you in and prepare you for Doomsday or fill in the pieces that Fantastic Four did not in order to get you to Doomsday, it's not. It's going to be dude, Punisher's in it, right? It's going to be a street-level Spider-Man movie, and I don't think it's going to have really any connection to MCU proper, which means that the next movie in MCU proper is essentially Doomsday.
Well, Dutch, you and I haven't seen Fantastic Four, but we have been following Marvel for decades now. What's your take on?
You probably more so than me, but yeah.
Well, what's your take on Kevin Feige's State of the Marvel Universe interview here?
From what I'm hearing you guys talk about, it doesn't sound like he's got his finger on the pulse of things much at all. I was immediately struck by Brian's comments about the way he is endorsing and using the script changes going into these things without a finished script. And it makes me think of James Gunn, who said before they were doing these DC movies that we're not going to start anything in these movies until we have a complete and polished script ready to go. So it's like two separate different views of how to make these movies, which I find kind of interesting. But
yeah, on that real quick, I'm starting to think that maybe James Gunn was a pretty healthy part of the success of the first couple phases because
for sure he was.
You think?
Yeah. That's why I was I scratched my head a little bit at my Superman reaction, because I guess James Gunn's style just didn't really work with Superman like it did with Guardians to me, I guess.
Is it that, or are you just expecting a more stoic Superman?
I don't know. Like I said earlier, Tom,
just a better movie.
Superman in himself in this movie was not my problem. It was everything else. I liked Corn Sweat. I liked his portrayal of the character. I didn't like Lois. I didn't like the Daily Planet guys. I didn't like the 3-person Justice League. The garage door elevator, the garage door joke. That's not kind of stuff I want in the Superman movie.
I love Corn Sweat so much, though.
Yeah, but Corn Sweat was fine.
So good.
He's Superman now. That's
Man,
okay,
if it had been a Corn Sweat movie, I would have been excited. But it was a James Gunn movie. That was the problem. It wasn't Corn Sweat's movie. It was James Gunn's movie.
That's
I don't agree with anything you guys are saying, but I can agree with this. Corn Sweat is 100% Superman.
And I got the Superman Bible right here that says you wrong, sir. It's big.
But anyway, yeah,
Dutch, I do think that going forward, that you might find it more interesting as the universe is more fleshed out.
Yeah, I hope so.
The biggest problem with Superman, in my opinion, for people that didn't enjoy it as much as I did, is that they were thrust into a universe without any. They were just thrown into the deep end without any context.
Here's where there's two things in this movie that kind of threw me. First off, really shouldn't, but it was their obviously their play on Man of Steel, where they kept the giant dinosaur kaiju thing trapped in the little block wide park in the middle of the city, and he wouldn't let the thing touch any of the buildings. Like that was definitely a comment on how in Man of Steel they destroyed the entire city by throwing people through the building. Right? It's like, oh my God, we're not going to Superman. We're not going to let a brick fall off this building.
I actually thought about that scene. In Man of Steel,
that was what I thought there
when they threw a truck at him, and he just casually moved out of the way, and it just smashed through an entire building.
Right. And the other thing that this kind of I was kind of over it was when he's in the apartment and he's having his moment with Lois while the whatever squad is out there fighting this giant interterrestrial tick or whatever the hell he called it, and he's just sitting there and not doing anything about it. My Superman would be like, oh my God, I gotta go help. There's no way he would have been in there and working on his relationship with Lois, having this little conversation while there's this giant interdimensional being fought off the coast 100 yards away from people's houses. It's stupid. It's just that kind of stuff just turned me off on that movie. It was too weird. So, but anyway, we're talking about the MCU, right? MCU's in a bad spot too. I don't know what else to say, man. I don't have any real interest in these movies right now. They're not doing anything to make me want to go buy a ticket, and that's the problem. I'm turning into more of a normie when it comes to these kind of movies. I'd rather go watch F1 or something, I think, than a superhero movie right now. And that's a weird thing for me to say, but it's the truth.
Better movie. So
yeah.
Well, guys, I want to point out that Skydance and Paramount have had their merger approved by the government, and basically, Skydance has come out and said that they're going to end all DEI initiatives at Paramount and bolster news integrity at CBS. And this is actually kind of super important revelation, because it's like one of the big studios, one of the big networks. And we're going to talk a little bit about Stephen Colbert in a little while and how he plays into this as well. But essentially, Skydance, which is taking over Paramount, says that they're going to cease numerical goals tied to race, ethnicity, sex, or gender for job applicants and employees, excluding these characteristics from promotion criteria and compensation plans, eliminating minimum spending requirements for quote-unquote diverse suppliers, removing DEI references from internal training, social media websites, and business conduct statements, and closing the Office of Global Inclusion and reallocating employee resource groups under human resources with a new focus on employee culture and engagement. And this is like we can parse things all we want, but this is a direct result of the Trump administration's basically saying hey, enough discrimination under the guise of diversity. We're going to go back to treating everyone equally, and we want to get rid of these initiatives across the board. And so Skydance, which has been going through a real hard time trying to get their merger approved with Paramount, basically not only did they have to pay out for all the slander and libel that the CBS News organization had been going up against Trump because they kept losing in the courts, but also all these DEI initiatives and all the stuff that Hollywood's been doubling down on over the course of the last 4 years. They're now very publicly reeling this back, and then magically they get approved for their merger. So I want to get people's take on it, but first and foremost, Brian from The Brain Show, because this is kind of your wheelhouse, because on The Brain Show, you guys talk about entertainment and politics. So I want to hear your take on the approval of this merger and whether or not you think that Skydance has kowtowed to the Trump administration in order to get the merger to go through.
100%. Skydance has definitely kissed the ring in order to make this happen. It certainly feels that way anyways. And then South Park comes in and tries to F it up in the last second. I noticed that. I do think that this merger is probably going to be good for entertainment. I think that kissing the ring means that maybe they understand that they need to please their audience a little more than they need to please their agenda. So if Skydance does understand that, then maybe we get better entertainment. Does that mean better Star Trek? I think Star Trek is done. I think after Starfleet Academy, which by the way, the new orcs look like, I think
still
they're
making
gay.
that movie?
I'm sorry, the orcs. The new Klingons literally look gay. It's confusing. I've never seen a gay Klingon, but I'm pretty sure the new Klingon is gay in this show.
It's a Klingon.
It's so weird. Seeing a Klingon that looks like feminized is so weird to me.
I gotta see what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, just look at my last post on Twitter, dude. It's wild. Right. The thing is, though, I do think that it's good for entertainment. But if you're hoping that we're going to get better Star Trek, I think that after Starfleet Academy, I think we're done for a while with Star Trek. Well, after Starfleet Academy in the last season of Strange New Worlds, I think Star Trek's going to take a nice long break, and maybe it comes back, in our lifetime in a better way. But as far as the merger goes, yeah, I do think that they definitely kissed the ring to make that happen. But I also think it's better for entertainment. If you want to show that, Dutch, show that picture.
I can't find it.
Oh, here.
I was laughing at Gary's comment that Fantastic Four: First Steps is the best Disney Marvel movie of the year.
Okay, let me show you guys this picture real quick. It's wild.
Dutch, in the meantime, so I know that you tried watching Strange New Worlds, and
I did
make it.
I lasted about 4 minutes. 4 minutes in, I said, not interested. I'm so jaded, dude. It is ridiculous how uninterested I am and this kind of stuff. And wow,
there's the new Klingon, boys.
Dude? That is crazy.
There he is. That's like, the new Klingon.
Hey man, you like my new Adidas tracksuit? It's really awesome.
This Klingon legit looks like
so skinny.
A homosexual Klingon.
Yeah, he
like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
it's very odd. Very odd decision.
Yeah, but Dutch, do you think that Skydance and Paramount going anti-DEI is going to have a positive effect on their future endeavors?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I hope so. I mean, if they're starting to change the way they are on a corporate level, then yeah, that's going to translate into their product at some point. But they have to purge, man. They have to get rid of all this nonsense they've been making. This Star Trek stuff has to go. They need, like Brian said, it needs to go on hiatus for 5-6 years, and then they just need to reboot. They need to come back with something new. Yeah, maybe a
solid decade.
Brian, I can't give them that long. I don't want to be in my 80s before when the next.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you. I don't want to wait that long either. But like, I feel like all the bad apples need to be gone. Like in every way. We don't want any of the infection left.
The problem is the bad apples bought the company. That's what nobody gets.
I need to be able to go down to the convention here in Vegas next month. At some point in the next few years and not feel like I'm at a fucking Pride event.
Dude, that's not going to happen. That convention isn't even a Star Trek convention. It's a science fiction convention ran by homosexuals. It's going to be a Pride event.
When that happens, then I'll know Star Trek is back in a good spot. But until then no, I just...
You're going to die. You're going to die waiting.
I don't think Skydance is going to let Star Trek rest.
Well,
but
Tom,
as far as good Trek, that's a good question because as I keep pointing out, the reason Paramount is in the position it's in the first place is because 80% of their output is produced by Skydance. So like most of the movies that they've had that have destroyed the company over the past 2 decades have been put out by the very people that are buying the company.
That's not a good sign.
Nothing is going to change. Not a gall darn thing. Like it's going to pretty much feel like the same people are pretty much running the company, I bet.
That's not
good. You're
good.
going to ask something, Matt. Sorry.
But Tom, I wanted to go ahead, Dutch.
No, I was just going to say, I know I was like on a personal level, if I could go to work, my real world place of work, and they removed all the diversity and inclusion and all the posters and all the shit on the wall and the Pride highlight of the person of the month on the TV screen as I'm walking through the hallways, I would probably feel a lot better about going to work every day. But so I at least on that level, I think them removing all this kind of stuff is a good thing. But we got to see how it translates to the end product. So guess we'll find out.
Tom, you kind of touched on it already, but I want to get your take on the approval for the merger going through, the impact that Skydance officially taking over Paramount will have. And also, it was under that kind of time frame that you talked about that they went into the Taylor Sheridan era, which is pretty anti-woke, I'd say. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, I mean, you do have that. You have South Park, you have Mike Judge, you have some other areas that are not Skydance still. But then it makes you wonder how that's going to turn out. I mean, we've already seen the disaster that, they had with the South Park guys and dealing with that whole thing. And part of their gripe is that they kind of busted them on is Skydance basically dealing already before they bought the company. And not only were they dealing, they were trying to cock block the deal for Trey and Matt to shop around South Park. And that's why I think they got a $1.5 billion deal. I think otherwise, had Netflix or anybody else won the bidding war, it probably would have ended somewhere around $1 billion. But I think just to kind of make nice, they threw in an extra $5 million. Plus, it evens it out because they initially were going for a 10-year deal. But anyhow, that being said, there's aspects and parts of Paramount that I think will keep the company afloat. But at the same time, we got to be the point you're making before is you got to understand all these changes were going to happen one way or another, whether there was a lawsuit from Trump or not. See, and that's what a lot of people need to understand because they needed to make these changes. Every company's making these changes because they have said that they're no longer going to allow these kind of DEI programs to go through in these companies because they're basically discriminatory, right? And people can sue. And I'm not going to be surprised if a bunch of people don't sue. We've already seen some people go after some of these companies. So they're well aware of that and they're scared of that. Then you have the whole Colbert thing. There's a lot of people who think that was a political move. I don't think so. I think it was because he was losing so much damn money every year, and he was just kind of old hat and too attached to this old politics thing. It was the politics, not Trump himself. Did Trump ask to have him taken off the air? Probably. But I'm sure Paramount was like, that's not going to be a problem. Because they clearly have the money. Or they wouldn't have been able to just pay 1.5 billion. Well, they don't pay it directly out. But I mean, they wouldn't be able to make this deal with Trey and Matt like that if they didn't have the money. The problem is if you go back and look, like say for instance when David Letterman was on the air, the Late Show would bring in like $240 million a year, right? Compared to what the $40 million they're losing now. And Dave got paid twice as much, right? So look, at the same time also late night is dying, so there's that aspect to it too. Overall, like they do need a change, though Hollywood needs a change, or this shit's gonna bite them in the ass. It already kind of has. And the only reason they've been doing this, and they've been finally admitting it, is what we've been telling them all along, is there was financial incentive in getting into all these DEI programs because they get all this money from all these other places. And that money is drying up, right? Like we've even told stories where there's the writer's room where there's these writers who aren't being paid by the production, they're being paid by the DEI programs, right? And once they're done, they get fired, and it's like, then they try to hire some of them back on, but some of them they don't. It's a big mess. And like you guys are saying, they need to go in and clean up the whole company. Nothing is going to fix it at this point unless they do that. I mean, yes, you have Taylor Sheridan, but how much longer is Taylor Sheridan going to last? I've heard some things about him that, look, and I don't mean in a negative way. I mean, like, I've heard he had pretty much a lot of this shit planned. And once it's done, he's done. Mm-hmm. Like he kind of knew what he was going in to do. He had kind of like a set plan. And then he knew he was going to bank out or cash out and just go retire. And he's probably getting close to that age now because here we are, how many years into this Yellowstone thing? So, and I've heard he's got it all pre-planned out, all a bunch of this stuff. And I kind of believe it. That's what kind of threw a monkey wrench in everything when he had this issue with Kevin Costner. So they had to rush the ending of Yellowstone. But we'll see how that goes with them because he's not going to be able to save the company single-handedly.
They should have had him run Star Wars because he likes to put plans together and outlines. And
well, see, people do generally like to do that in Hollywood. They used to do that all the time before the days of Marvel.
I feel like that's the only way you should be doing it. I don't. Like, you know what? Let's just jump into this $1 trillion franchise and just see what happens.
Guys, I want to hear Odin's take on this merger and whether or not he thinks that the Trump administration might have strong-armed some of these things in terms of them agreeing to do anti-DEI stuff in order to get approved and the financials behind what they're doing. So Odin, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I think that part at least is probably true because I think even the administration's kind of come out that much, like at least with the board that approved the merger, about saying how they were happy to know that there were some guarantees in the deal about how they would be approaching, like, for instance, their news, but then also their approach to DEI. So I think that absolutely was an aspect of it, and I mean that's obviously directly from the administration, as that has been a big line for them ever since that they came on. As far as like the Stephen Colbert firing, honestly, I think that for that it's more financial than it is political. In that I don't think that they made that decision because Trump told them to. I just don't really. I mean, Trump does a lot of things, and some people like them, some people don't. And I could totally see him putting a true social out of like Stephen Colbert shouldn't be on TV, but I don't think he actually said and told like the FCC, oh, don't approve their merger until Stephen Colbert is fired. Like, I don't think that he did that. And I just, again, it doesn't sound like something that really anyone involved would have done. I think that, you could argue maybe it was a sign of good faith from them of, hey, we are serious to, committing to the things that we've said that we're going to commit ourselves to. But I think as Tom brought up, like there was a absolute financial reason to end the show. When again, this used to be how it worked. Like if you started to lose money, you got canceled, right? You got fired. that should be how it is in any business, right? If you're not making money for your company and your company is a for-profit industry, then guess what? You should not have your job at that point. And I think that's probably what happened in the case of Stephen Colbert. And I think it should happen probably to a lot of other people, because I think there's a lot of other people that have just been kept on because of their politics or because of their power. And therefore there's lacked any common sense with it. So that's kind of where I'm standing with these things.
Well, excuse me, Odin. Tom did bring up a good point, though, where a lot of these USAID kind of money laundering scams seem to have been funding a lot of these DEI initiatives in Hollywood, where basically they'd be taking taxpayer money, throwing them at these Hollywood institutions and saying like, hey, we need more diversity, we need more inclusion, we need more liberal commentators. And there's also talk right now where Robert Kennedy Jr., the Health and Human Services Secretary, there's talk saying that if he bans pharmaceutical ads on TV, that a lot of these kind of like entrenched liberal commentators are basically going to get fired because they no longer have that support from like these pharmaceutical industries that have been getting this USAID stuff funneled to them. So I wanted to hear your take on that, and then I want to hear Brian's take on it too.
All right.
I think that's I think that that would be a beautiful thing. I think of all the things in the administration right now, because again, there's a lot of division over Iran's policy, over the Israel policy, whatever. The one thing that I think almost everyone can agree with is that RFK has been doing a stellar job at his job. Like, as far as the decisions that have been made, there's not many that I can think of that are controversial enough for people to be like, oh, I don't like that one. Like the fact that we already have so many industries who are going to be taking out these artificial food dyes and these other things, these artificial sweeteners, and switching over to more natural things, like, and there's a set time for that. It's like, okay, that to me is like a concrete, good, positive thing, right? That has, it's, evidence-based and backed up. So I really do think that is something that most people probably can agree with. If they're able to do that, I think that's also something that's going to be universally praised. Of like, yeah, of course, pharmaceuticals shouldn't be able to, like, the fact that I think we're the only country that allows pharmaceuticals to run ads in that way. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry, but probably not a good idea. And after everything that happened with COVID and all the rest of it, yeah, probably should start to let them start losing some money versus getting more money.
Brian, real quick, in a minute or less, what's your take on that?
Well, I think Robert Downey Jr. I think our health guy is doing great. I am sick and tired of these disgusting, manipulative, big pharma ads being shoved down our throat every time we turn on a television show. It's stupid. Other countries don't do it. It's a nonstop parade of drug-pushing propaganda. And in reality, no one is watching one of those ads and being like, you know what? You're right. I need to go get this random medication that could result in dry mouth, sleepless nights, and suicidal thoughts.
And death.
No, and death. No, the reason they're there is so that they can own the network. Whatever network they're on, they're funneling billions of dollars to them in ad revenue, which means that those news agencies don't want to report negatively on those companies. It's obvious manipulation. It's an obvious bribe, and we got to stop it. There's a reason why other countries don't allow it. We should not have. It's evil. It's straight up evil, and we shouldn't have pharmaceutical ads on television, especially when it results in TV news agencies refusing to actually report on the negative things these companies do.
Well, guys, speaking of obvious bribes, let's get to some super chats real quick. Kalikioki for $2, or Kalichioki. Am I pronouncing that right? I'm always pronouncing it.
I've always heard it Kalikioki.
Kalikioki.
Think Kirkman will remain at Paramount with this deal? I don't know.
No, he won't, actually. I think when his contract's up, his contract's up.
Yeah, so we're talking about the Star Trek guy, right?
Alex Kurtzman.
Yeah.
Alex Kurtzman, not Kirkman. That's the Walking Dead guy. So I think Alex Kurtzman will not remain at Paramount past Starfleet Academy.
Yeah, the rumor is he's been hovering around Amazon. I don't know if Brian's heard anything, but
I have. It's him. It's his. It's the company that he works for.
Secret Hideout.
Yeah, Secret Hideout.
I thought he had one of these ironclad Kathleen Kennedy deals that he'll go when he damn well feels like it.
dude, it's up in 2028. It's up in 2028. They're not going to renew it,
Right on.
and he's already making plans. And Tom, you're right. So Secret Hideout is already pitching ideas to Amazon. They're like, you know what? Max isn't going to pay us anymore. Let's go to Amazon and see if we can fool them into giving us millions of dollars for ideas that are unproducible. That's where he's going.
All right, guys. Ryan for 10, is that euros? Yeah, 10 euros. As much as I want to credit Trump with the demise of late night, the fiscal realities of entertainment had wrote their epitaph 20 years ago.
And you're looking at one of the reasons why, too. This was another thing I was going to bring up.
YouTube.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about this in the next segment. So let me just get on to John Yulden for £4.99. Star Trek needs to go away for a decade for people to miss it, and also for different people to arrive to produce it and do it justice.
Bro, Dutch might not make it another decade.
3 years. That's my limit. 3 year break.
I don't think they're going to let it
Dutch
rest,
is not the
although
healthiest guy, bro. Like, I don't know if we can get to a decade with
See,
Dutch.
here's the thing you guys don't understand. To the general public, Star Trek has been on arrest for the last 10 years. Nobody's been watching this garbage.
That's true. And look at
The
the
only
Nielsen
thing
ratings.
anybody tuned into was Picard. And
Yeah,
that's what I
but-
said. Like,
Picard
a lot
was
of
the
people were
only
like-
series that broke the top 10 Nielsen.
but
Nothing
even
else
the
has.
first 2 seasons, a lot of people were like, what the hell is this? And it's like, we
Yeah,
tried
it
to
was pretty-
warn you guys.
And only
Pretty
season
paying
3
attention.
broke the Nielsen ratings. You know
And
how
guys-
rare it is for a Star
guys-
Trek show to not break Nielsen? Sorry, go ahead.
The Astro Nerd Boy member for 28 months, which is quite a long time. Unless there's a decision that declares Star Trek after Enterprise isn't canon, Paramount's merger with Skydance means nothing to me. That'd be nice. That'd be nice just to erase everything after Enterprise.
Yeah, there's precedent. The expanded universe doesn't
Technically,
exist.
Enterprise is
Doesn't work.
canon to Discovery, so you would have to go before Enterprise.
Well,
Sorry to say.
well, guys, speaking of watching a bunch of garbage, Stephen Colbert got canned, and The Late Show is not going to replace him. It's actually ending. They're actually canceling The Late Show. And
That's
this was
actually
like
wild.
No.
this was big news last week, and essentially Stephen Colbert is going to go down in history as the man who destroyed David Letterman's legacy. The Late Show was basically set to overtake the Tonight Show when Letterman was kind of like at the top of his game. And now, because basically the show stopped being funny, it started being like political. There were all those viral clips of basically Claire Danes going on there saying how like the CIA has been using journalists to basically push these like ops, and Stephen Colbert immediately like changed the subject because he's one of those guys, allegedly. But also, like, who can forget the COVID era where they had like the
Dancing needles.
the dancing needles sketch and stuff like that. Basically, Stephen
Vax.
Colbert never met a Democratic talking point that he disagreed with. And therefore, like, he pushed that. He was kind of funny back when he was doing like the Colbert Report, and he was kind of lampooning Bill O'Reilly and stuff like that. But for the most part, he's basically just been really shitty for like the past decade or so in terms of like, entertainment value. So a lot of people, when this news was released, they talked about how this is basically Trump strong arming CBS and Paramount, the owner of CBS, because he doesn't like Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert speaks truth to power, and Trump is scared of that because he's an authoritarian. It had not I find it funny that they don't seem to mention the fact that CBS, Paramount, and pretty much like news organizations across like the media dial have lost in defamation suits consistently in court because they keep lying about certain things. But essentially, people are looking at Colbert getting sacked as a payoff to the Trump administration to approve the Skydance Paramount merger. I don't know how much truth there is to that. I'm sure it played a little bit of a factor in this decision, but for the most part, The Late Show, it's come out, has been being subsidized by Paramount to the tune of about $40 million in losses every year because nobody watches the show. And as Tom pointed out, YouTube has slowly been taking over the late night space. Greg Gutfeld is the number one late night host right now because he's actually funny. But also the fact that we now have different avenues with which to see celebrities be interviewed, hear about, news organizations that have people lampoon or satirize, like politicians or what have you. And it's all based on the online YouTube sphere or Rumble or wherever you like to get your social media from. And essentially the late night talk show format's basically dying out. It's basically a dinosaur from a previous era.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get the panel's take on all this. I want to start with Dutch. Dutch, what's your take on, late shows dying and the fact that Stephen Colbert got fired?
Well, Colbert's not funny. I mean, that's basically the bottom line. He's an activist. He's a liberal mouthpiece for the liberal woke agenda, and he always has been, and he's never really been secretive about it. He was doing that when he was back on Comedy Central, and they just took his brand of humor and moved it over to the Late Show. And that has lasted this long has been absolutely shocking, surprising to me. I've never thought the dude was funny, and there's the show was funnier. It was good when Letterman was there. Letterman was never shy about his left leaning things, but he just did it in a way that was people accept it. It was funny. Nobody dislikes humor. Everybody should be made fun of. It's not a problem. But there's just something different about Colbert's brand of humor that comes from a mean, dark place, and it's never really belonged on network television, as far as I'm concerned. I've never seen a single entire episode of that show since Letterman left, and I don't really watch late night television at all anymore because it's all just a bunch of left wing liberal propaganda anymore, and it's not funny. It's not good. So
yeah,
I'm glad he's leaving. People don't watch that shit anymore anyway. I don't even think 1 million people across the entire country watch one of these shows when you look at the ratings, right? I mean, what's the number one rated late night show make at that 11:30 hour? I mean, is it 900,000 people or something like that?
I wouldn't be surprised if most of their views came from clips on YouTube after the fact.
Yeah. Jimmy Kimmel, same way, aside his little fake feud with Matt Damon, that show is not really that funny anymore. These guys, they're just mouthpieces for the Democratic Party. That's all they are, and it needs to stop. And him going away is a good thing. Nobody watches it anyway, so fill that space with Rick and Morty cartoons or something. It'll probably make more money for him.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask Tom Connors Jr. So he mentioned about how like YouTube is kind of slowly taking this over, but I want to hear your take, Tom, on why late night is dying and what the future of these types of shows are going to be on the YouTube platform.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it necessarily had to die. I mean, the politics, I think, is what really hurt it. And when you had basically all three networks running shows, or well, the three main networks that were doing it, running shows that are all pretty much the same thing, right? You either got flavor A, which is strawberry, flavor B, which is strawberry, or flavor C, which is strawberry, right? And when that's all you got is one flavor, people are just going to be like, I like a little bit more variety than you can't get a chocolate or vanilla, vanilla in there, maybe, And that's kind of what happened on top of the YouTube sphere, where you have real people talking about real things in real time. And what's the difference? Well, the late night shows could have made a comeback, because what they used to be was more or less just a place for the movie stars and television stars to promote their stuff, or to see comedians and musicians and stuff like that. And the other problem is most people don't want to think about a lot of that stuff just before bedtime. So there was a great clip going around at Johnny Carson where he was talking about how he doesn't get political. He didn't get political back when he was doing his show for a lot of reasons. One of which is just that people don't want to think about that stuff late at night. They just want a good time. I mean, people tuned in to see Burt Reynolds get drunk and hit on Dinah Shore. They didn't tune in to see, a bunch of politic talk. And when your guests, and I'm not the first person to point this out, so I'm not, I'm not pretending that, but when your guests are like senators and shit, who is going to tune into that crap? No, we want to see Howie Mandel make goofy faces and fucking put a rubber glove on his head. That's what we want to see. you know, or the rare occasional thing where you had like Hugh Grant apologize for being a very naughty boy because he got caught with a prostitute. You know, that's about as real as we want it to get. Right. What we used to have was things where, like, when you'd watch David Letterman, you had no idea what was going to happen. Right. Like Regis Philbin could get hit with a fire, fire hydrant thing, or what do you call it? Not the hydrant.
Fire hose.
No. Well, what do you call it with the spray thing when you have it in the can? God darn it.
Stephen Colbert, a show is like,
he used to do that crap too.
Senator Adam Schiff and
exactly
Representative Alexandria, whatever.
Are you talking about funny string? Funny string, Tom?
No, I'm talking about fire. When you have it hanging on a fucking wall.
Fire hydrant.
No, it's not a fire hydrant.
Fire extinguisher.
Fire extinguisher.
Oh,
Thank God I could think for 5 minutes. But yeah, like that, or you want to see Drew Barrymore flash him. Like that's the kind of shit you expect to see in a late night, not sit there talking about policy and Trump this and Trump that and Trump. Right? Because it's like that's all we heard for fucking years from them. And it's like there's other things going on.
Tom, I remember, back in the Carson days, there was no internet. There was 3 channels, but when Carson went up there and did his monologue, he would say a joke about whoever was in charge in the White House, whatever. But then he'd immediately turn around and do another joke about the other party. They were always very even keeled about
that, or it was very benign shit, right? It was never like the only times it really got really groovy for them was like the Monica Lewinsky stuff.
Sure.
Right. Because that was like an endless treasure trove.
It was
of jokes.
O.J. Simpson. I remember that too.
Well, that's not even political though, right? Like, but I get what Dutch is saying. Like, yeah, like at this point though, like this would have been a situation where like Gerald Ford was always known to be a klutz, right? Mm-hmm. So you had a lot of comedians make jokes about that. If it had been normal world, do you realize how many jokes we'd have constantly about Biden on TV, tripping over himself constantly? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they didn't even do that. It was like they were so easy and nice on him outside of the few people who had the balls to do it.
Well,
anyway, but yeah, that's kind of where it's at right now. And that's what I think the big problem is yes, we got YouTube, you got people like us who are real people. And if people are going to see people talking about real life, they'd rather see real people talking about it than Stephen Colbert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I want to throw this to Odin because I don't know if any of you out there know this, but Odin is on one of the most popular live streams, and then that is, of course, this one, and then slightly lesser known is Friday Night Tights. But one of the things that people really love about Friday Night Tights and like that whole crew is the authenticity factor, where like they don't really hold back. They aren't owned by corporate sponsorships or anything like that. So when you tune into like the Critical Drinker or Nerdrotic or a lot of these guys, you get their honest opinions, and you can disagree with them or whatever. But the fact of the matter is that they're not inauthentic. They're not shilling. Mm-hmm. They're not being fake and phony, which I think is a problem with a lot of these late night hosts, is that they just come off as being bought and paid for shills, and they can't be honest, because if they're honest, they're going to be taken off the air. So, Odin, I want to get your take on like how powerful authenticity is in the online space, and whether or not you think that the late night talk show format is giving way to the YouTube talk show format.
Oh, absolutely. I think authenticity is kind of the name of the game. I think it's Gary that always says something about authenticity and it being the currency of the day or something to that effect. And, sometimes even to our own detriment, right? Because part of the being authentic is sometimes FNT itself can be a bit of a crapshoot, right? Of people just talking over each other. And some people like that, some people don't. But it still is a reason why like the show has grown consistently for as long as it has, and why it continues to do really, really well. But yeah, I think authenticity is a big part of it, because no one believes or buys what these people are doing. I think COVID especially was really what the mask pulling off moment was. Like for many people, it was 2016, it was the election, it was Trump, TDS, and that's a big part of it. I think COVID was even more so, because what did these late night people do? They tried to do like this online thing, and it failed epically. Like these people that have, millions of dollars, could get all of the good technology that they ever wanted in the world, were finally put at a level equal to everybody else. Because once you're online and once you're using the internet, there's only so many programs, there's only so many chat forums that you can really use, and it's going to automatically limit what you can do then, because everyone's bit rate's going to be capped at a certain amount, everyone's capacity for guest is going to be clipped at a certain point too, just because of the technologies that currently exist and existed even just at that time. And it really was that moment of, wow, without your writers, without your entire makeup team, without everyone that makes you look as good as you do, you are a shell. Like you have nothing to actually bring. And honestly, I think when it comes to many of these guys, I think there was a time when they were funny. There was a time when they could write jokes, but they've now gotten so comfortable in this corporate space that they've lost it. They've lost that capacity to be funny. And all they can do now is be a mouthpiece. And there's something that does something to a person's soul, to a person's brain, even when they're constantly in that mode. The last thing I'll say about Colbert, and the thing that probably bothers me the most about him, is, as many people know, I'm very unabashedly a Catholic, right? It's a big part of who I am.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's no, really.
No idea.
Now, what people might not know is that so is Stephen Colbert. And I can see why you might not know that, because he does mention it on time to time, but you listen to the things he says, you listen to the ideas that he pushes and everything like that, and you're like, I don't see how that lines up to what my perception of the church's moral teachings have ever been. It's because he doesn't. He very much goes against the church's teachings, and yet his bishop does nothing to publicly call him out or anything. In fact, he was a catechist. He actually was the only funny video that I can remember from his history, and I would actually look it up because it actually is pretty funny. It's him in like a empty classroom, like all the chairs are on the side, because he was an actual catechist. He actually taught the faith. And he decided to make kind of this joke video where he was singing one of the church songs, but it was almost in this mocking way. It was like Who is the King of Glory? And it was like who is the King of Glory? It's kind of like a musical theater song. And so he sang it that way. He's like, who is this King of Glory? Where can we find him? And you're like, oh, that's actually funny. Like, that's actually making fun of the music currently going on. It's not political. It's not like going to really, isolate anybody in any way. That was actual comedy. But now, of course, what does that turn into? Dancing vaccines.
Oh, well, that's
all jokes aside, I didn't know he was Catholic.
Yeah.
That's a Creed song, right?
With arms wide open. Which, funny enough, randomly, this is a side personal note here, randomly, like, there's a whole bedtime routine with my son, and at one point I just randomly was like, give me a big hug, and I immediately was just like, because my arms were literally wide open, just started singing with arms wide open. And so he will sometimes say, wait, you didn't do the and I'm like, what did you just say? And it's because of how I'm saying the words like the Creed singer. He doesn't know I'm saying with arms wide open. So he's like, I don't know what your words are, but that thing. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you speaking English right now?
Well,
and it takes me forever to be like, oh, you mean with arms wide open? Yeah. Okay.
Nobody knows what your words are. That's why we like to have you on the panel.
I always love the comment of, why do you always speak at 1.5 speed? That's just how my brain works. I'm sorry.
Brian, want to throw this to you. So, like, I keep remembering how Stephen Colbert treated Kamala Harris when she came on his show, and he tried to humanize her by drinking a beer. But Odin actually touched on like a really interesting aspect of the late night during COVID, which is like you had these guys, so like, they were furloughed for like a long time. They weren't able to record their shows. So they get on like their computer's built-in webcam with like, their earpod mics and stuff like that. And they did that, like, what was it, Fox Force 5 or FemForce 5 or whatever the thing was, where all the late night TV show hosts got on and started doing live streams on YouTube. And everyone's there is like, dude, you couldn't afford like a DXLR camera or like, like a SM7B microphone or something that shows you in a more professional light. You're just like hopping on like your cell phone and connecting to StreamYard or OBS or like whatever.
They're using like 2 generations ago, like Apple laptop cameras. Like,
and like they have like the headroom up to here. Like,
it's like they're like this.
Yeah.
Like, or even worse, like this.
But
I'm so confused.
It just shows like how little like they actually have to do with the production of their shows. Where like they basically show up, they set the political tone for it, but they just read what the writers write them. They just kind of like let the producers produce for them. They're not actually like the true talent that they come off as when they have that big machine behind them. So what do you think that Stephen Colbert's firing portends for the other late night shows.
I mean, I pretty much agree with everything everyone else said here. Problem is, late night TV sucks. The late night shows suck. They suck now. They're hollow, just lifeless puppet shows run by corporate leftist cowards, essentially. It used to be raw and funny, electric. Like these shows in the past were, the reason they were on late was because the kids weren't up then. They were shows for adults. There was an edge, right? Like actual comedy. It wasn't just sanitized cookie cutter leftist agenda nonsense. Now it's just virtue signals and fake laughter. At one point, like I've watched the shows a lot. I remember the camera went to the audience by a mistake during a laughter moment. No one was laughing, which meant that they were just funneling the laughter in via sound effects, which is so weird to me. Like that is not what late night TV was. You didn't have to tell the audience to laugh. You didn't have to use a laugh track. It was funny. It was funny. Now every host is the same. You can take some of these guys and their monologues and match them up. They all pretty much say the same thing, the same limp rehearsed bullshit that is whatever the agenda is that week, that month. And during COVID, it was so bad. During COVID, it was relentless, non-stop, agenda-driven bullshit, and it wasn't even funny. You can have an agenda and still be funny. I don't care if you make fun of right wing. Hey, you're left wing, make fun of me. Cool. As long as you're funny, like what Dutch says, I'm cool with it. But if you're just mean and boring, then I'm not. Like you can't exist if you are not entertaining me, you monkeys. Because your only job is to get on TV at 11:30 and entertain me to sleep. And if you can't do that, you're fired. And it's about time, because YouTube's been taking over for a long time, dude.
Yeah.
At some point they go, oh, some guy in their basement, with a good idea is getting more views. No, it's even worse, because we are actually better at framing than you are. We're better at cameras and lighting than you are. The fact that it takes like 37 people to make you look good for an hour, when I can do it for $14 on a weekend by myself, is a problem. You do not deserve the millions of dollars you're getting because you're not entertaining me. When you stop being a monkey, you lost your job, and that's it.
They got to get that $12 ring light from Amazon, man.
Bro, it's not that hard. I got a fill light and a ring light, dude. I mean, it's not a big deal. You know what the crazy is? When COVID happened and they couldn't be in their studio, I thought, what a great opportunity for the studios to save money, the networks to save money. Go home and do the same show. But they couldn't even produce a watchable show, dude.
They don't know how. They don't know how to do it.
Yeah, and if late night can't survive in this world because YouTube is just better now, because we're more authentic, because we're less bought and paid for. There's some shows on YouTube, don't get me wrong, but because there's more genuine people with better production quality, then you don't deserve. Give the money to us. We'll do your job for you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, speaking of getting money, we have Major Chai Chai for $10. Hello from San Diego Comic-Con. Catching your stream while I wait for the next panel. Have a great day. I hope you're enjoying the San Diego Comic-Con. It's very exciting every year when people are doing that, especially like nowadays where they seem to be getting back to basics away from just like movie stuff, right?
Do the big studios even go to Comic-Con anymore? I mean, because they all have their own conventions now, right? Disney has their thing, I don't know. I mean, what's the big news out of Comic-Con this year? I haven't heard much of anything.
Marvel and DC did a bunch of very expansive panels. I don't know if there were any bombshells or surprises.
There's no bombshells.
Yeah,
but it's very quiet.
Guys, speaking of bombshells, did you know that all the women in the WNBA want to get paid more?
What?
For what? I got a question. For what?
Wait, are they going to finally go on their own?
Women wanting money is nothing new. But basically, the WNBA All-Star Game, all the players came out with these T-shirts that says, "Pay us what you owe us." And this brought to light the gender pay gap in sports controversy, where women are basically like, hey, how come all the men are getting paid more than us? We deserve to be paid similarly because we are all athletes. And this brought out kind of like an interesting thing because Gatorade and the WNBA kind of came together and came up with this advertising thing where John Root here says, I don't think Gatorade and the WNBA fully thought out this marketing campaign though. and they're going with the slogan, let her cook.
Yes!
And,
yes! Oh, that's awesome!
And people are like, the marketing geniuses didn't really think this thing through because they're associating being in the kitchen and cooking with female athletes.
No, there's some marketing kid. There's some marketing intern who came up with that. And he's all like, "Oh, I can't believe they did that. That is
Dude,
they're gonna do it.
We need to find that person, and then we need to put like the Linkin Park song at the end of Transformers, like the one that went around with "I've done," like with Biden, like walking away and then smiling. We need that guy there because this is a huge win.
They should have just said, WNBA, go make a sandwich.
Let
her cook.
That is great.
That's it's wild, bro. That's so good. I love that so much.
Yeah, but
that makes me happy.
Dutch, what's your take on female athletes wanting more pay?
Oh, well, when they can actually have a profitable league, maybe they can start making some money. The only person that makes any money and the only reason that they sell the tickets they do in that league right now is because of Caitlin Clark. That's the only reason. And maybe her sort of hot bodyguard that beats up the chicks who beat up
Caitlin Clark is their only moneymaker right now.
Their only moneymaker.
And if you want to raise her money,
she's worth it. But that's the only name I know. It's funny that Shane Gillis bit where he's like, when Caitlin Clark retires, she's gonna get a job at a Waffle House so she can fight black women.
Listen, Listen, the Las Vegas Aces headquarters is a mile away from my house. I drive by it every single day. It's right next to the Raiders headquarters because they're both owned by Mark Davis. But they're the two-time league world champions in the last two out of the last 3 years. And the only time that they really sell tickets is when Caitlin Clark's coming to town and they have to move the event from their normal place in Mandalay Bay to T-Mobile Arena to accommodate the crowd because they're there to watch Caitlin Clark, not the home team Las Vegas Aces. It's hilarious. And you notice when you look at the schedule for the TV time for the WNBA, they're all Indiana Fever games because nobody wants to watch any game except for the Caitlin Clark games. It's really funny. And the league it's a joke. It's a fucking joke. Nobody likes women's basketball. It's like nobody wants to watch women's softball. Women's sports are not exciting, guys. I'm sorry. They can go out there and they can play their games and they can do what they want. They have every right to do it, but they're never going to be profitable and make the money that the men's sports do. Women's soccer, same thing. They have to get all political and get the activist lesbians out there who are terrible soccer players to get any kind of promotion for that. The WNBA has some interest because of this thing with Caitlin Clark, and she has her Angel Reese as her big rival. And whenever they get together, fists start flying. It's kind of funny. So there's just aside from maybe a tennis match once in a while, nobody gives a shit. I'm sorry. It's just how I feel. It is the truth. You can't convince me otherwise. Women's sports are way in the back seat of the van compared to the men's stuff. And it's just, they're not going to make any money and they don't deserve any money.
Because it's different games.
It's different
games. Totally different games.
Yeah.
Brian, you mentioned Shane Gillis a minute ago, and he kind of made waves when he was hosting, I believe it was the EPSIs or something like that.
Yeah.
ESPYs. And basically, like, there was a moment where he did a joke where he pointed out this woman in the audience, and he was like WNBA All-Star and what's her name, and like everyone started applauding. He's like, I'm just kidding. That's my buddy's wife. I knew you all didn't know who any of the WNBA stars were.
Bro, I died.
Put them on blast, and then you have this.
And the camera was showing their faces, and they're all mad.
And then you have this like let her cook thing, and like all this other stuff. So like how do you like everyone kind of acknowledges that nobody knows anything about the WNBA. Nobody cares about the WNBA except for when Caitlin Clark is involved.
Right.
So like, where do you think these women are getting the idea that they deserve to be paid on the level of NBA All-Stars?
Oh yeah,
I legitimately don't know. It's if they just thought about it for a moment, it must be just pure and utter entitlement. Because if you just considered it for a moment, you don't get paid because you're a basketball player. You get paid because you bring the audience into the seats, because you have people watching. Mm-hmm. Your worth is not tied to the game. It's tied to the audience you can bring in. And the WNBA isn't bringing anyone in. WNBA is not bringing anyone in, which means they're not going to get paid the same as men. And it's so weird when they go, why aren't we getting paid the same as NBA players? Because NBA players have 114 times the audience you do. Yeah. What did you expect? The fact that you're getting paid only half is shocking to me. I don't get it, because no one's watching your stuff. It's effectively costing the league to have you play. So why would you get paid more? You're getting paid too much as it is.
Well, Tom Connors Jr., we all know that you hate women. So why don't you tell us your take on the WNBA pay gap?
Well, I think the funniest thing that nobody's pointing out about this is, as far as I know, there's no rule that says women can't play in the NBA. Like, that's how they keep getting dogs and shit. Like, we're getting a new Air Bud movie, like, anytime now. I'm not even kidding. So yeah, what's stopping them? Oh yeah, you can't compete. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, like to me, at the end of the day, this whole thing is stupid. It's like the fact that you have a WNBA to begin with is like it's being subsidized by the NBA on top of it all. It's like if women's sports was just stuff that people actually wanted to watch and were interested in, I don't think we'd have this problem. Like, I'm sure women's volleyball doesn't have this issue. Not one bit.
No, I actually enjoy
women's tennis is very popular, I hear.
Yeah, but Tom, the women's soccer thing had another, like, the same issue where they're like, oh, how come we're not getting paid as much as men's soccer?
Because it's boring.
Yeah, but
is there a women's soccer? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
They were like Olympic, medalists and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been going on for years now, man. Yeah.
No, I mean, be better. Like, I don't know what to say. It's boring.
Have
no one's watching you.
Never heard of Megan Rapinoe, Brian? Really? Come on, man.
Oh, that's right. That chick. Yeah. Yeah. No one's watching. It's bottom line. It's really easy. It is
They also expect people to just watch, right? Like you were just saying, Brian. Like, it's just they just expect people to just show up. It's like you do realize that it took, what, 10, 20 years maybe to get baseball, the MLB going. Probably close to that for NFL as well. Like, it took years for these things to kind of catch on, right? And we're talking about the invention of the game, and then also, then eventually they started leagues, and this was a local level thing, and then it became a national thing, and so on and so forth. You girls are jumping right into the majors here, and you're complaining.
Yep.
It's like you got handed a silver fucking platter, yet you're complaining. Here's one thing you will never get from me. Sympathy from people who play pretend for a living or play sports for a living. You want to know why? You literally get to do what kids want to do all day long when they're sitting in school and they don't get to do, and you get fucking paid for it. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. What about guys who get paid to talk about that stuff all day long?
Oh, that's even better.
Right?
Yeah. No, you know what drives me nuts is this. They also go, it's also the women who aren't playing. They're like, yeah, the female NBA players should get more, just the same as the men. I'm like, okay, watch the game.
Yeah, when's the last time you watched a game, lady?
Go to a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go support your fellow
very
women.
Popular, I know, but I mean, look, it's just do I want to see a woman play on the same level as a guy in football or anything like that? No, but if you tell me they're doing like what is it, like powder puff football or whatever, where the girls are doing their
lingerie bowl.
I'm right there right now, right? Like all over that shit, right? Like most guys would be. The point is look. We get it. It's just guys are not really going to show up to watch women play that many sports. Certain ones, yes. but certain ones no. And then they forget that the whole reason most sports exist is because women just wanted to watch men do shit, and men needed to find something to do besides kill each other. Like, really, that's what it was. It was like, we're bored, and we're going to kill each other if we get too much more bored. What should we do?
Play football.
Well, we got a stick, and we got a rock. Well, let's figure something out here. Yeah. And that's kind of how it started one day. It was just like, yeah. And then the women are like, look, those guys are doing stuff over there. We like to watch guys do stuff. And they're doing stuff.
You gotta stop.
I mean, no, he's
that's
right,
how
though.
it started. I mean,
men are competitive, so they made a game out of it.
It's like either we're going to kill each other, or we need to come up with a way of doing this to where we don't kill each other.
Dude, for thousands of years, we just fought with each other nonstop.
Well, welcome to the Salty Nerd Misogyny Hour, guys. That's awesome. I love
it's called facts. It's learning.
That's
it's
right.
history.
That's right.
Well, I
You're not going to get
this.
these facts on CBS.
That's right, not from Colbert.
Can women,
to Odin.
Wait. I got. Can women dunk? Panel.
Tell me who the female Michael Jordan is.
Depends on what the regulation goal is.
I legitimately don't know.
I can dunk on a 5 foot.
But say anyone can dunk
6 foot basket
if the hoop is down long.
I've never seen a single game. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, Odin. This whole gender pay gap controversy has been raging, especially for the last 4 years under the previous administration. And but a lot of people say there is no gender discrimination in terms of pay, because hourly they get paid the same amount of money. But the argument has been that women have a lot more kind of outside factors like maternity leave, showing up late, leaving early, not very career minded, because they got stuff going on with family and other things. Whereas men are very focused. They don't take as much time off. They don't take as much vacation. They hit the ground running and they go hard. And therefore they earn more over time because they're not, taking as much time off and stuff like that. So what's interesting about this WNBA thing is that pretty much every dude out there that I've heard is basically saying up your game, right? Like we talk about how on YouTube, if you're a halfway decent woman who's willing to show a little bit of cleavage, you can get 80,000 subs. Whereas us bearded white guys with hats covering our baldness,
bearded fat white guys,
have to struggle to get even 500 subs.
Yeah.
So
please watch.
I feel like it just depends on the industry that you're in terms of how much you get paid.
Yeah, look, man. If I'm watching the news and I don't have a hot weather person, I don't.
Weatherman.
I don't want to watch it. Weather person,
Dutch
weather lady. I was like, I'll switch to those Hispanic weather channels. Just
you said weatherman. You
listen, egghead.
I like to see their bulge bulging when they're pointing at the green screen map.
No.
Odin, what's your take on the gender?
Yeah. I was going to say Darth Maul kind of beat me to it. The best WNBA player of all time is Joanna Man, and Joanna Man did do indeed the first dunk, to my knowledge, in the WNBA. Fantastic film if you've never seen Joanna Man. But no, I have to give a shout out to a YouTube channel, Nate the Lawyer, because I remember back, it was during either the last Olympics or one of these like international things, and the pay gap came up, right? And so Megan Rapinoe, I said Rapinoe, all that stuff was coming up with her, and he was actually doing full breakdowns of their contracts and looking at it from a lawyer's perspective. And here's the other thing too that no one mentioned, some people have already mentioned, right? Literally the WNBA would not exist if it wasn't being subsidized by the NBA. Mm-hmm. So that'd be my first thing is okay, you want more pay? Great. No more money from the NBA. Go ahead. Guess what? You couldn't do it because the whole thing would collapse if they were to take the NBA funding out of it. That's the first thing. But then also, too, if we go to, at least when it comes to the soccer team, right, for the women's soccer team, people may not know this, but for their contracts, they get guaranteed pay. The men's contracts are better, meaning that if they win games, if they win tournaments, if they win championships, their payout is huge in comparison to the women's, but it's because they don't get paid if they don't win. So their contracts are tied to their success, whereas the women's contracts, it's no guaranteed money. If we win, if we lose, we still get the money no matter what. And again, it kind of makes sense. You're like, okay, yeah, it makes more sense for a single guy to think, oh, I don't care about getting paid consistently. Whereas for a woman, it makes a bit more sense for her to be like, no, I want to have some consistent pay in my life. Also, as you just mentioned too, right? There's the guarantees in for leave, right? For child, for childcare and other things like that, for maternity leave, and all these things that are not included for the guys' contracts either. And so Nate the lawyer really did a great job kind of breaking those things down when it came to specifically the soccer team. I just checked his channel, and it looks like he also now has a breakdown, which I'm going to watch later, of the WNBA situation. But it's the same exact one, right? Basically, like these teams, like again, I'm not against these women's sports at all. Like again, if they want to play a sport, go right ahead. I have no problem with that. The issue is that when you're trying to claim that you want the same pay as others, but then you're receiving subsidies from the men's team just to exist, that's the issue right there. And if no one's going to call them out on that and just call a spade and say, hey, if you're going to actually get the same number of eyes on your show, if you're going to be just as successful, meaning, again, when they hear success, they think, but we're winning. That's not what we mean by success. In the game of money, success is you're bringing in money that guarantees that you get money in return. If yours not bringing in money, and again, the only person that most people, like if people are going to name 5 WNBA players, if you talk to most people on the street, I think almost all of them would probably say Caitlin Clark. I think almost all of them could at least get that because she has become so huge, right? The fact that even all of us here on the panel know who she is, or that most people in the chat probably have heard of Caitlin Clark at some point, tells us how also bad the WNBA is as far as optics and as far as its reach. Because the fact is they have one player in the last, 10, 15, 20, their entire existence that has ever been able to get name recognition.
Yep.
So why should they get more pay? Like, again, that makes zero sense from a financial standpoint.
Well, I want to point this out because the Rogue Attraction actually had a great comment here where he says they just need to lower the nets and get hotter women if that would make money. And what's interesting here is if we look at the Gatorade ad campaign, right? Let her cook, right?
I can't believe that.
It's so great.
Wild. That is wild.
But guys, so like just
that's
the other
not a
day,
parody. That's not satire.
No, that's not satire.
That's real, dude. It's so good.
This is WNBA. Let her cook. But Sydney Sweeney just came out for American Apparel, right? She did a series of ads where the tagline is Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Jeans. In just 3 days time, guys, the Sydney Sweeney American Apparel ad campaign added $300 million in additional valuation to the American Apparel company.
I wish I would have invested.
Compared to what Jaguar?
Yeah, compared to Jaguar, but also like the WNBA. So like there is this idea here that if the players on the WNBA were like a little bit more attractive, then maybe they'd be getting more
less
money.
like men, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah,
yes.
They almost all look like men.
Yes, they do. And
Oh,
I'm not convinced they all weren't men at one time, Brian. They just sucked at basketball as men.
That one chick that was like trapped in Russia or something.
Brittany
honestly,
Griner?
Yeah, she
She's
looks like a
dude.
man.
I'm
pretty sure she's a man.
Dude, I've got bigger tits than her, and she has a deeper voice. Okay, so it's just the way it is.
Yeah, but I think that especially in like male focused demographics in terms of like sports, it's very heavily like male demographic oriented, right? If like even if women tuned into the NBA, like it's going to be a small portion of women who are like into like women's sports, whereas like men are the primary audience for sports. It's just the way it's always been, right? So like if they just added a little bit more of sex appeal and a little bit less feminism to the WNBA, do you guys think that there might be like, a little bit more?
I think if they did mud wrestling in between that would help.
Like halftime?
Yeah. Like that, or just make sexier uniforms. Like just shorter shorts. Tighter tops.
Put on some of those 1980s Magic Johnson shorts.
There you go. See, Dutch knows what I'm. And hey, if you're gonna do that, you might as well do like the knee-high 80s socks and everything. Like go all out. Some guys are into that. But the thing is you got to remember these women have to look like women. That's the thing. That's the key. You can't be putting out some dude out there in a bibby top. Okay,
No,
it's just not going to work. We're going to all throw up,
Hey,
and we're going to want our money back.
let them cook, Tom. Let them
cook.
They can cook if they could. Can they cook?
Maybe a sandwich.
I don't even know if they can.
They probably can't.
Dude, someone needs to go to their games with the sign. Can you cook?
Can you actually cook? Do you know how to make lasagna? You want to impress me? Make lasagna. That's some complicated shit. That's some stuff that a chemist needs to know what to like. I couldn't tell you how. Do you know how lasagna is made? I don't.
Beef Wellington.
Matt, I wonder if we went down to Mandalay Bay at the next home game, if we just had a sign that said pastrami on rye, please.
Stone ground mustard.
And
cut off the crust.
Hey, can I get chicken parm?
That would be great. We should do it.
That's another one, Brian. If they know, that's like some science shit.
Yeah, chicken parm's hard.
It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't work.
It shouldn't, but it does.
Just shouldn't.
It really
does.
Oh my god!
You know what else works really well is super chats. We got
Super
one from
chats.
the Joker's Voice for $20. World Cup soccer: women's generated 131 million, men's generated 5 billion. Women get 17%, men get 4%. WNBA $40 million loss annually, average contract $113,000. NBA $10 generated 2024 average contract.
Probably 10 billion.
Yeah. 9.7 million. Women get higher percentage of revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So
what's with this $40 million loss with everything?
I know, right?
Yeah,
it seems like that's the number that everyone's.
Is that the number that the DEI companies were paying in?
That's the woke loss.
Hey, that's what you owe us.
USAID.
I think they owe them.
Oh, is that the standard USAID contract?
That's what I mean. Exactly. Yeah. Is that the amount of money that all of a sudden $40 million is just gone?
All right, guys. Well, we had a lot to talk about today, and we talked about it. I want to thank my fantastic panel of nerds for showing up almost on time and contributing to all the conversations in a very healthy and believable way. So, Odin from OMB Reviews, any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you?
Like I said, a very believable way. Anyway, you can find me on OMB Reviews on YouTube, on Twitter/X, all the different platforms. Box office breakdown video will go live tomorrow. And it'll all be about Fantastic Four. Will it have a higher opening weekend than Superman? It looks like globally it actually has a chance, but we have to wait and see for those full numbers to come in. The big question more so, what is that week 2 drop off going to be? Because is it going to drop 60+% like all MCU titles tend to do or not? We'll cover that as well next week.
All right. And Tom Connors Jr. from Midnight's Edge. Any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you?
Lasagna.
What do you like, Tom?
Oh, I love lasagna.
Lasagna is good.
It's like sex as food. If it was a food.
That's true.
I don't like that comparison.
Just slather your body in lasagna sauce.
It's like perfection. It's like
I do like lasagna, man.
Get that sauce up in the nooks and crannies.
It's magic. And did you know that there's this frozen kind now that you can get at Walmart? It's like, was it Angelo's? It tastes like real lasagna, not like that fake shit.
Let her cook.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, let her cook.
Let her
my
cook.
lasagna.
Let her cook.
Let her cook.
Anyway, you can find me at Midnight's Edge After Dark, and all those fine places where they sell action figures.
Very good.
Kung Fu grip.
Brian from the Popcast, any final thoughts? Where can people find more of you, and what's going to be talked about on the Brain Show right after this?
I just want to add to what Tom said. I also like lasagna and chicken parm, and a good chicken Alfredo, like with
I'm really hungry.
Thick, creamy Alfredo sauce, the 4 cheese, garlic, roasted garlic. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Is it any wonder why we're a bunch of fat fucks on this?
Fat bastards.
Hey, we're talking about a lot of cool crap on the Brain Show. You should come. I'm literally going to pee in a bottle and start the stream in the next 8 minutes. So I hope you guys can join us.
Yes, indeed. All right, Dutch Butters, what's going on the gaming channel? And do you have any final thoughts?
I would like to add, I would choose baked ziti.
Oh my
baked
god,
ziti over maybe even more than it's.
Let's go
with like ricotta cheese, meat sauce. Crusty cheese, yeah, dude. That's where it's at.
Crusty, like
some nice Parmesan,
melty, but the top
bread,
of it's a little bit overbaked.
Yeah, exactly.
Crunchy.
Yeah, now I'm hungry. God dang it.
I'm hungry and horny.
Fat enough.
It's because it's Italian food, Brian.
Yeah. Dutch Butters Gaming, guys. We're playing games. We're doing squad-based shooters. We've been playing a lot of Dark Tide lately. We're having a lot of fun with that. Kind of putting Helldivers on the side a little bit. They're on their summer vacation over there in Sweden, so we're getting filler orders to play in the game, which aren't a lot of fun. But we're still playing games. A lot of doing a lot of things over there. This week's podcast on Salt Divers, we have YouTube streamer Crazy Mr. Pips coming to join me and Alex this week. So we're looking forward to that, and we're just chugging along. So come over and join us, guys, and play some games.
All right, good stuff. I want to give a big shout out to everyone who supported the show today. Mexican Iron Man, Doomed Huh, John Yulden, Kalikioki, Ryan, Major Chai Chai, and Joker's Voice. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate everything that you guys do for us in terms of support and all that good stuff. Didn't quite hit our members goal today, but I'm sure we'll hit it next week once we're back to normal. And I just want to show you guys what $300 million looks like right there.
Leave that up for about 5 minutes.
Sold.
No.
$300 million.
She can put a little
You
makeup.
can take it down.
She can put a little makeup on her face, pretty herself up a little bit. But other than that, what?
All right, guys. Tune
She's
in
got
next
that
Saturday.
feisty girl look, Matt.
Tune in next Saturday, same salty time, same salty channel for more Salty Saturdays. Until then, stay salty, my friends.
God bless.